The Office of Emergency Communications is the federal focal point for interoperable emergency communications throughout the nation. That's at all levels of government. It was created about 2.5 years ago. I'm the first director. And really, we just create a forum where federal responders can work with state and local first responders like Chief Reyes here, and we can share best practices, lessons learned, so that these communities don't have to start from scratch or reinvent the wheel whenever they're taking on one of these initiatives. This is a team sport. The interoperable emergency communications problem is one that all first responders have 99% of the same problem. When they can't communicate, bad things happen. So we just really try to provide that forum to where they can get together with their peers and give us recommendations on what we need to do to improve interoperable emergency communications.
It has always been a practitioner-driven approach. In other words, we never felt at the state level and now at the federal level that this was the state government or the federal government telling us what was best for us. This was the state government and the federal government telling us, come in, speak with us candidly about what you think works best in this ideal arena.
Well, some of you might be asking, what is coded language or 10 codes, and why do we have to change and move away from them? Well, the National Incident Management System, other known as NIMS, required responders to move from coded language to plain language in mutual aid situations. The problem we're dealing with today is not a technology problem. It's things like 10 codes and other human problems, or what we call coordination activities. That's 90% of the problem. 10 codes being a perfect example. 10 codes themselves wouldn't be bad if they were standardized across the nation. They're not.
Fire and EMS, they get this. They are already in a plain language protocol. So for the most part, they can't understand why the cops aren't doing this already.
There's a lot of myths when it comes to common language and the transition from 10 codes, and I was going to run a few by you and just get your gut reaction to them. The first one being that I'll lose my security for my communications if I give up my 10 codes and move to plain language. What's your reaction to that?
Well, that's one of the biggest myths that's out there, Chris. I'm glad you brought that one up. As everyone knows, all of our coded language is on the internet. With the wide open use of the internet today, anyone has access to any municipality's 10 codes. So this thought that your communication is secure is nothing but a myth. Really, the only way to achieve total voice security, if that's what you're trying to protect, is encryption. We all know that our 10 codes are out there on the internet. They're very widely used.
Here's another myth. It's going to take a lot longer for me to communicate the same message if I don't use 10 codes and I use plain language. What's your reaction to that?
Well, again, probably the second most common myth. Take this example. This is an actual radio transmission. Send me a signal 2 for a 1099 code 3. There I used 3 different codes, 10, code, and signal, and it took me quite a bit of airspace. Now, saying the same thing in plain language is send me a backup for a wanted person, lights and siren. Did that sound any longer than using the 10 code?
No, not at all.
No. And any person hearing that from a neighboring jurisdiction would very quickly know I have a wanted person, I need a backup, and I need them there now.
Yeah, and I think, Chief Reyes, you would agree with me that this is a culture change. I mean, some of these first responders, primarily law enforcement, have been using 10 codes their entire professional career. And so it's a culture change. And anything where you have a culture change that you're trying to implement, it takes time, it takes a lot of effort to get people to transition.
So the implementation has to be well thought out.
Yeah, and that's one of the things the Department of Homeland Security is doing by sharing best practices, lessons learned, providing technical assistance. We've been training a lot of folks on how to provide this service to really help states and localities deal with this transition. So you're not alone. There are resources out there to help you with these transitions.